Hi, good morning, children. Good morning once again. How are you all? So, good morning to everybody. So, let us start our class once again. In the yesterday class, yes, it's JD sir. Okay, thank you. So, you recognized my name and remembering my name. That's great. So, yesterday, now let us go directly into our syllabus. Let us not wait our time. It's so precious. So in the yesterday class, I explained lot of details regarding nomenclatural system, right? Today, I'll just give you a brief idea about taxonomic categories. I'm going to give you a brief idea about taxonomic categories. And then we'll go into another chapter, that is biological classification. Understood? And I request all the children, don't use this YouTube channel, like this stream, to chit chat yourself, like among yourself, and don't send unnecessary messages. Okay, some of them are just sharing their Instagram IDs, and some of them, so many nonsense is going on, of course, and many of them are very seriously listening to our classes. That's really great and good sign. And this is very important session. Remember, this session, I very in the first class itself, I clearly told you this session is meant for to make you familiar with all basic terminology required for your biology first year and second year. Understood? So don't waste your time by diverting yourself to other nonsense things. Keep your focus only on your career. That is to become a medico in 2028. This must be your only goal. Understood? So don't divert like for other things. Now let us come back. Yeah, some Mr. Nagreddy is saying my voice is low. It's maybe trouble from your side, like your network may be slow. That's why you are getting a little bit slow sound. So now let us see taxonomic categories. Sound increase, yeah. So now I think you can get maximum size because there was some trouble, technical trouble here. That's why you had a little bit low sound. Now let us go into taxonomic categories. See, classification process. Listen to me carefully. All of you be alert and just focus whatever I'm explaining. Don't divert yourself. Okay. Now classification is not a single step process. It includes a hierarchy of steps. It includes a hierarchy of steps. It is not a single step process. It includes many steps. Hierarchy of steps. Remember, hierarchy of steps. Let me give one best example to understand about this hierarchy of steps. Still people are saying voice is low. Can you increase the sound? Wait a minute. Here the technician is trying to increase the sound. Though I am using my complete voice, still it is getting low. Yeah, I think now you can get maximum size sound, right? Are you able to hear me now? Is my voice audible? Is my voice audible? Please respond. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yes, it's audible. So many of them are saying it's audible, and you can hear my voice now, right? Wait a minute, I'll change the mic. There may be some trouble. Yeah, can you hear me now? Is my voice audible? Is my voice audible? Respond. Yeah, I think now it is, problem is solved, right? Yeah. Now come back. So I am saying that classification is not a single step process. It includes hierarchy of steps. Hierarchy means like different levels of steps. Let me take a simple example to understand this hierarchy of steps. Take your 10th class school or our junior inter college like Gosala campus. Here, to look after you, there are hierarchy. There is a hierarchy, that there is a coordinator, and above him there is vice principal, and above him there is a principal, there is above him there is a dean, and then executive dean. And of course, after that you may find the still higher levels like director and chairman. That is different. So what I am trying to tell you is, here we have different levels of hierarchy. There is one basic unit, you can call it as coordinator. There is also a topmost unit, you can call it as chairman of this total Sri Chaitanya. The chairman is the topmost unit, and coordinator, who is looking after you once you come to the offline classes, he is the basic unit. Understood? This is the hierarchy. Similarly, even in plant classification, there is hierarchy of steps, where each step is called a rank or category. Each step is called rank or category. So rank is nothing but a step, that is nothing but category. And of course, you can call scientifically it as a taxon. Now let us look into the different categories. The basic category is species. What is the basic category? Species. Species is the basic category. At species level, all the organisms fundamentally similar. They are fundamentally similar at species level. They are almost exactly similar, fundamentally similar. Where? At the species level. The species, different species are included under genus. Genus is the next level of category. Different genera are included under a family. And different families were included under a order. Different orders were included in a class, and different classes were included in division or phylum. Division or phylum. Different divisions or phylum or phyla included under kingdom. Now, this kingdom is considered to be topmost unit. What is the topmost unit? Kingdom is the topmost unit. Whereas what is the basic unit? It is species. Now here, one more important thing that you need to remember is that in case of plant classification, we use a category called division. Whereas in animal classification, we use a category called phyla or phylum. Phylum is singular, phyla plural. Understood? These are the various categories. Of course, here I am not giving all the details of every category. So once you come to the offline classes, in the offline classes, we are going to discuss in detail about what is a species. That means how a species is identified and what is its significance and how it is included in a genus and how a genus is divided into different species. All those details will be discussed once you come to the offline classes. Understood? Because this session is meant for only to make you become familiar with different terminology. Understood? So this is what you can see with regard to the taxonomic categories. That's all. Now, so with this, the living world session is completed. And after understanding this, let us move to another important chapter, that is biological classification. Biological classification is the next important one. Understood? Yeah, some people are saying domain is still higher. Yes, you are right. Who is that guy? Sandeep, good. And Bujji Vidya. So she's also saying about domain. Of course, you are right. But I told you, no, all those details like what is domain, you know, there are also some categories like subcategories like tribe. Do you aware about it? How many of you know about tribe? Do you know what is tribe? Can you tell me what is tribe? T-R-I-B, tribe. Let me check. Mr. Sri Harsha Sai. Tell me, what is the tribe? What is a tribe? Oh, tribe is a kind of community. It's a great discovery, man. So don't Google it. Don't search in your AI search engines. Yeah. So there are different answers I'm getting. So whatever the answers that you are posting are all wrong. Tribe is a subcategory present between family and genus. What is it? It is a subcategory present between family and genus. Okay, like this, there are so many details are there. You know, there is a order, superorder, infraorder. Similarly, in a class, there is a superclass, infraclass. There are subcategories are also there. So I am not going to touch all those details. If I go on touching all those details, it become more complex for you now as you are fresh to this biological terminology. So just I am making you to expose only few important things that are very essential as soon as you enter into the physical classes. Okay, so now let us come back to biological classification. And as you know, the living world is comprising different kinds of organisms, including microorganisms and macroscopic organisms. In microorganisms, we have bacteria, fungi, there are different protozoans, viruses. Viruses are also there. And apart from that, you can also see there are also organisms like plants, animals. There is so much of variation is there. Now in this chapter, how all these organisms are classified, what are the different classification systems or classification methods that have been proposed to classify these organisms. Understood? To classify these organisms. Now, it was Aristotle. Aristotle. Do you know who is Aristotle? Who is Aristotle? Can anybody tell? I am just checking your answers. Who is Aristotle? Yes. Yes, Mr. Lachireddy is father of biology. That's great. That's great. So he is the father, he was the father, he is father of biology. Aristotle was the father of biology. He classified, he proposed a more scientific basis for classification. More scientific basis for classification. So this man has given a more scientific basis for classification, that he classified plants into herbs, shrubs and trees. Herbs, shrubs and trees. Similarly, on the basis of what? On the basis of simple morphological characters. On the basis of simple morphological characters. Similarly, he also classified animals into those with red blood and those without red blood. Those without red blood. So like this, he has provided a simple classification. Who is that? Aristotle. So who proposed more scientific basis for classification systems for living organisms for the first time? For the first time, it was Aristotle. Aristotle was first to propose a more scientific basis for classification. Understood? Now, after this Aristotle, so you want to note down this, like if you want to note down, like instead of noting down, just take the screenshot and after completion of the class, you can copy it into your notebooks. This is what you can do, okay? Now, after the Aristotle, it was Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus, he proposed a two-kingdom system. Who proposed it? Carolus Linnaeus. Linnaeus has proposed this two-kingdom system. This system was based on presence or absence of cell wall. What is the basis for this classification? Presence or absence of cell wall. And in view of him, those organisms that have cell wall were included under Plantae. So Plantae included organisms with cell wall. Whereas Animalia includes organisms without cell wall. Organisms without cell wall. So these are the two kingdoms that he made. Now let us take Plantae. So according to him, this Plantae includes organisms like bacteria, because bacteria have cell wall, cyanobacteria, then fungi, then bryophytes, of course, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, bryophytes like mosses. Mosses are the examples for bryophytes. Pteridophytes like ferns are the examples for pteridophytes. Next, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms. So all these organisms were included under Plantae as they have cell wall. Remember, he kept all organisms which have cell wall under Plantae. Whereas under Animalia, he included those organisms which do not have cell wall, like all animals, simply to say. All animals were placed, like those without cell wall were placed under Animalia. This is what he made the classification. Now if you look into this classification, look at here carefully. Now take this bacteria. Bacteria and cyanobacteria, both unicellular. Of course, cyanobacteria includes even colonial, that is different, and there is also filamentous in cyanobacteria. Of course, we can call it as unicellular and prokaryotic. What are they? Prokaryotic. Whereas when it comes to fungi, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms, these are all eukaryotic. Understood? This kind of situation is there in this classification. That means, so here, if you look carefully here, I said bacteria and cyanobacteria are prokaryotes, whereas remaining are all eukaryotic. Now these prokaryotes and eukaryotes were placed together under Plantae. Can anybody tell what do you mean by prokaryotic? I am waiting for your response. I am waiting for your response. What do you mean by prokaryotic. So there is a lag between you and me, almost 10 to 15 seconds. That's why there may be a small gap. So Susti, yes, good. Lack well-defined nucleus. That's great. Oh, yeah, there are many answers I'm getting. Without proper nuclear membrane, good. Who is that? Okay, Divyasri and Bhavi Katta. Yeah. So there are different answers like I'm getting. Like most of them are saying not having a membrane bound. That's great. So simply to say prokaryotic, as many of them are not giving a correct answer. I'm just giving you the definition. Listen to me carefully. Here, pro means primitive or incipient. What do you mean by pro? Primitive or incipient. Karyon means nucleus. That means here they have a primitive nucleus. Primitive nucleus, which means they lack a nuclear envelope or nuclear membrane. Then they also lack chromatin organization. They also lack nucleolus. So simply to say, they don't have a definite nucleus. So their nucleus is very simple or primitive without nuclear membrane. That's why they are called prokaryotic. And what is eukaryotic? Eukaryotic in the sense U means true. U means true. Karyon means nucleus. So eukaryotic, simply to say, they are organisms with true nucleus. So what is eukaryotic? They are organisms with true nucleus. Such organisms are called eukaryotic. True nucleus in the sense they have a nuclear envelope, then they have nucleoplasm, chromatin organization, nucleolus. So this kind of nucleus is called a well-defined nucleus. So eukaryotes have well-defined nucleus, prokaryotes don't have a well-defined nucleus, but both of them were placed together under Plantae. By whom? Linnaeus. This is a kind of demerit that we have here. So this system, two kingdom system, it does not make any difference. No difference. It is not making any differentiation between number one, prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. So it is not making any difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms, that both were placed in the same group. And the second thing, it is also not making any difference between unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms. That means both unicellular and multicellular organisms are placed under kingdom Plantae. Apart from that, it is also not making any difference between autotrophs and heterotrophs. So, as I said now, prokaryotic bacteria and eukaryotic fungi, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms were placed under kingdom Plantae. Both were placed under kingdom Plantae. And apart from this, it is also not making any difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Like, let us take unicellular bacteria. Apart from that, unicellular eukaryotic algae like chlorella. Very important. You know what is this chlorella? Chlorella is unicellular eukaryotic algal member. It is kept along with multicellular algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes and gymnosperms as well as angiosperms. Understood? So both were placed together. Gymnosperms, angiosperms, pteridophytes, bryophytes, algae. This includes some multicellular organisms. Algae, like in the earlier classification, some algae like chlorella was unicellular. And there are also multicellular algae like Spirogyra is one example. Eulothrix is one example. Such organisms were also placed along with unicellular organisms. This is a demerit. Understood? And the third important thing, it is also not making any difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic. Let us take fungi. Fungi is heterotrophic. Most bacteria, not all, most bacteria are also heterotrophic. So these were placed along with autotrophic plants. Autotrophic plants. So this kind of consideration is again making lot of confusion. So it is very difficult again for the people to recognize which organism is exactly plant. See, you cannot say the bacteria is a plant. It is not like normal plant. A plant has, a photosynthetic system and it is appearing to be multicellular. But bacteria, is it multicellular? No. And is all bacteria have photosynthetic system? No. But still they were placed. Why? To consider all these organisms as plants is only one character that he has taken into the consideration, that is presence or absence of cell wall. So with this, I think you are very much clear that if you make any classification by taking one or few characters into the consideration, only one or few characters into the consideration, definitely such classifications become more complex and more confusing. That's why we have to make what kind of classification. The classification system must be very clear, and different organisms has to be provided with the different specific positions. So this one has to follow. And another important thing, in two kingdom system, though this two kingdom system was in use for long time. It was in use for long time. So we use this two kingdom system itself as a basis to classify living organisms for a long time. But this system now is considered to be inadequate. Means it is not sufficient. Why? Because it is not providing any specific position. There are so many reasons. I am saying one example, like it is not providing any specific position for those organisms which did not fit under either of these two categories. What are they? Like plant and animalia. There are also some organisms which did not fit under either Plantae or Animalia. Understood? So that's why, though it was in use for a long time, still this system was found to be inadequate. As a result, now several attempts have been made to classify organisms. Besides taking gross morphological characters and other characters like cell structure, body organization, nature of cell wall, mode of nutrition, then habitat, then mode of reproduction, then phylogeny. What do you mean by phylogeny? Can anybody tell? I am waiting for your response. What do you mean by phylogeny? What do you mean by phylogeny? I am waiting for your response. Phylogeny. Can anybody tell? That's why, see, no one is giving answer for my question. Almost everyone. That means you are not aware about this terminology. That's why I am insisting from the day one that you must focus on these bridge course classes. Otherwise, you will be losing a lot, and definitely you find difficult once you come to the offline classes if you are not putting your focus on this bridge course classes. Understood? So remember, so only one guy, that is Karthik. Good. He is giving the correct answer, and Pushpavarshika is also giving a correct answer, but I think some of them are taking from Google. and posting here. That I can understand because that's a Google language. And phylogeny is nothing but evolution. What do you mean by that? Evolution. So it's evolutionary relationship. So there was a need to include these kind of characters for classifying organisms. Why? Because if you take only one character, then the classification becomes more confusing and more complex. That's why we need to consider the character besides gross morphological characters. Remember, you have to take morphological characters. Apart from morphological characters, you must also take the characters like cell structure, body organization, nature of cell wall, mode of nutrition, habitat, mode of reproduction, phylogeny or evolutionary relationships. Understood? So if you consider these kind of characters, then the classification would be provided in a proper way. Therefore, the classification system has undergone several kind of changes in the course of time. As a result, after this two kingdom system, three kingdom system came into the existence. And then this three kingdom system was also found to be inadequate because that also has some demerits. And then four kingdom system came into the existence. Again, it has some demerits. So this was also again replaced by five kingdom system. Five kingdom system. Understood? This five kingdom system again replaced by six kingdom system. Six kingdom system. The sixth kingdom system is also called three domain system. What is it? Three domain system. And the sixth kingdom system, recently we also have a eight kingdom system of classification. Got it? So now we have, what is the first, who proposed the first classification, more scientific basis for classification for living organisms? Can you answer me now? I am just now asking questions. Who provided more scientific basis for to classify the living organisms? Who first provided more scientific basis for to classify living organisms? Quick. Yeah, that's good. Sridevi. That's good. That's good. Yeah, most of them started giving. Aristotle. That's good. And who proposed two kingdom system? Who proposed a two kingdom system? Yeah, that's great. That's great. Many of them have started giving. Who proposed two kingdom system? Yes, that's good. It is Linnaeus. That's great. That's great. Understood? So, the Linnaeus system, is it adequate to classify the living organisms? Say yes or no. Linnaeus system, is it adequate to classify the all living organisms? Say yes or no. Yes, that's good. That's good. So many of them are following like absolutely in a perfect way. That's great. Yes. No. So it is not adequate. Why it is not adequate? Why it is, what is the main reason? Why it is not adequate and what is the main reason? What is the main reason that Linnaeus classification is not adequate? Let me see how many of you can give the correct answer. Why Linnaeus system was found to be not adequate to classify the living organisms? Yes, 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 yes. Because he took only one characteristic. What is it? presence or absence of cell wall. That is the only one character that he has taken into the consideration to classify the living organisms into plants and animals. That's why his classification is not adequate to classify all living organisms. Because of this consideration of a single characteristic, unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms fall into Plantae. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes are also placed under Plantae. Autotrophs and heterotrophs are also included under Plantae. So there is no difference between unicellular and multicellular, no difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and there is also no difference between autotrophs and heterotrophs in lineage system. That's why later much well developed systems have came into the existence. As I said, now there is a 3-kingdom system, 4-kingdom system, 5-kingdom system also came into the existence. Among them, we are going to discuss about 5-kingdom system of classification in the tomorrow class. Okay, in the tomorrow class, Mr. Kailash Tummalapalli, after coming to the campus, I wanted to meet you personally. Okay, definitely I'll meet you. I'll remember your name also, because you can know my memory after coming to the class. And if you have any brothers already studying in Gosala Boys campus, you can inquire with them about JD sir. Okay, so because just I wanted to meet you to inquire about your future plans and your proper like you have your own plannings for your future, right? So just I wanted to discuss with you. So Mr. Kailash Tummalapalli, so try to keep your concentration much more on our current topics. Okay, so don't deviate yourself. Not only he, and there are many others. So keep your focus only on the studies. Okay, so tomorrow we'll go with biological classification. Biological classification. In that, I'll be discussing about 5-kingdom system, and after that I'll be touching, like I'll be giving some few details about Monera, Protisteans, fungi, Plantae, Animalia. So this is what we are going to do from the next class onwards. So for today, this is enough, and thank you, and we'll meet again in the tomorrow at 11:40 a.m. Thank you very much. Bye.